image is not suitable for my media project as it does not connote rebelliousness or the rock theme. It is also not a straight-on shot, and the eyes of the model are not focusing on the camera, which is key in my photography for this project as I'm trying to engage with the audience. This shot type is suitable, however, the paralinguistic features of the model are not correct and do not connote the right representation for my project. Yet again, both of these images are not suitable because they do not connote the right representations for my magazine. However, the actual shot type themselves would be ideal, but again, the paralinguistic features of the model just don't make them ideal. This image, however, would be ideal for my project as it connotes rebelliousness and the rock theme. The shot type is also ideal as it's sort of a long shot. However, I do have better sort of images that I could use. If I did another page on my double page spread and I had enough room for this image, it could be used, but yet again I have more successful images that would probably look better on my project. This image would not be suitable for my media project as the lighting is totally wrong. I have a shadow from the model's hand actually on the guitar, and the lighting is just too dark near the bottom of the image. It does connote the right theme, but I would say that it is verging on being sort of a wrong gesture to actually have for the pose. Therefore, this image would probably not be successful to use in my project. This image could quite easily be used in my project. It connotes the right representations, the shot type is ideal, the lighting is ideal. One thing that may cause a problem is it couldn't really be used as for the front cover of a college magazine because of the clothes she's wearing. It probably wouldn't go with the colour scheme of my magazine, but if I could find room for it in various other places within the project, it could work as a successful picture. This image will work very well with my media project as I'm wanting a close-up like this. It connotes the idea that we're getting deep into the thought of the character, which is part of my double page spread, actually getting into and getting to know the character. However, I may have to mediate this image if I actually want to use it, for example zooming in on it more to make it more of a close-up, getting further into the image. But apart from that, with a little bit of mediation, this could be a very successful image to use on my project. This image is also a rather successful one. What I was trying to do on this is getting sort of one side of the face with sort of a shadow on, one side really bright. It was successful, but possibly the actual shadowed side of the face could be a little bit too dark, and that could cause problems with the audience actually seeing the image. And it may actually be too dark. However, if I mediated the image, it could work. So if I do, can find place for it in the project, it could be a successful image. This image will probably not work successfully in my project as it is an eye angle shot, which does not connote the characters actually having power, and the character is actually represented as having a lot of power, being rather independent. But from the gestures in this picture, you would actually think that she's trying to be subordinate, which totally isn't giving off the right representation or connotes the right theme for the magazine. Therefore, it wouldn't be a successful picture. This image works rather successfully, and the actual "and" is sort of out of focus, the face is in focus. Her being in the background and Anne being in the foreground, it sort of connotes her as having a lot of power, which is right representation for what I'm trying to get across with the character. If I can find a place in the magazine for this image, it would be successful, but I do believe I've also got better images probably that I could use within this photography. These images probably wouldn't be successful in my media project, as again, these don't connote the right representation, which is really hard when you're taking photography to actually get the model to do the right paralinguistic features that you're actually wanting, so the hand gestures, sort of facial expression to connote the right representation for the magazine. But these probably wouldn't be successful as they just don't connote a rebellious, rocky theme, and the theme of her being an independent woman, this here as being quite subordinate, which not at all go with the theme of the magazine. so therefore would be very unsuccessful to be used, so they won't be used in my project. This image would be very successful for my media project, as it looks rather professional. The actual pose, the lighting looks very professional. She's got the sort of prop with the guitar, which connotes again the right representation. It looks a little bit sort of mysterious, which also aids the representation of it being sort of independent and sort of rocky, rebellious, and also the clothes that she's wearing also connote the rebellious sort of rocky theme also. So overall, this would be a very successful picture to use in my project, and this will most likely be used in the project. These images could very easily, successfully be used on my media project. They've all got the right props. They all connote the right representation. There's a couple of adventurous poses within these. For example, one with the licking the guitar, one holding it up above the head, one with the lent back on it, and which all sort of adventurous and I was trying new things out actually with the photography to see if it would work, and it has proved that actually some of them, from being creative with my photography, have actually worked, and I may have got some images that I can actually use on my project here. These images were successful as far as photography goes. However, again, for my magazine, they're not connoting the right representations. At a push, they might be able to be included if I was struggling to fit pictures in. But I've actually made room for that, and seen that I've took the right amount of pictures and suitable ones for the project. And with correct planning time, these images probably just won't be used in my project. They're alright images, but just not suitable for the actual work that I've done. Both of these images were rather successful, and both can be easily used within my project. Again, both connoting the right representation, which is rebellious and a rocky sort of theme. All can be easily used on my project, and all look rather professional, which is the idea of actually the coursework, making it like a professional magazine, making one for a professional company. So all of it must be to top standards, especially with photography, and I believe it actually is on these pictures. I believe this image is very successful, and this image is what I will actually be using for the front cover of my music magazine, as it connotes all the right representations. It's got good lighting, the background probably won't have to be mediated that much because it's very suitable, and the clothing and the props of the glasses all connoting the right representations, and all appealing to the target audience of my magazine. All of these three images probably wouldn't be suitable. I mean, again, they're very good photography, the lighting's good, the props, but the actual gestures or the paralinguistic features of the model are not correct. They're too sort of nicey, not connoting the right representation for a rebellious sort of teenagers magazine. They're just not suitable. I believe these images were rather successful. However, I do believe that I have got better images within my photography portfolio that I could just as easily use. Therefore, I think that probably it won't be necessary to use these. However, if I'm struggling for space for images, they easily can be used. But I do believe I actually have got better images that can and represent my magazine in a more correct light. I believe I took some very successful photography, some not so successful, but I believe I have a lot of images that could be suitably used for my project. Overall, I thought the photography was very successful.